She is on Forbes. She is Abita Batra. She's the CEO of Otomagnetics, a new innovative biotech. There is no way for me to actually explain to you what exactly it is, so you just have to see for yourself. Enjoy.
Current treatment of macular degeneration requires repeated needle injections of drugs into the eye. Magnetic delivery will enable treatment without needles, or eye puncture. Topical magnetic injection will also be used to treat other conditions, for example, to better deliver therapy to burns, diabetic ulcers, or into wounds. By harnessing the power of magnetic forces with the promise of nanotherapeutics, Otomagnetics offers an advanced, minimally invasive, effective drug delivery system for multiple unmet clinical needs.
Welcome everybody back to another unbelievable edition to Maxin TV. I have an unbelievable guest here, Abita Batra, who is the current CEO of Otomagnetics. Abita, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's been amazing. I've heard great things about you and the show. Excited to be a part of it.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm glad you heard good things. Yeah, we have a mutual connection. Jim Cheatham put us in contact.
Yeah, amazing guy. And great things. He's done great things. And of course, we expect to do the same in biotech, create a revolutionary technology and break the barriers here.
Right. So why don't we get right into that? What is Otomagnetics?
Yeah. So Otomagnetics is a drug delivery platform technology where we are trying to deliver the drugs non-invasively to hard-to-reach target indications. And we are using magnetic nanoparticles and we are using magnetic forces to deliver the drugs to the target indication non-invasively within a few minutes.
So what specifically is the problem that you're treating?
Yeah, so the problem that exists in the market, I mean, we all know that there are surgeries and invasive procedures which are needle-based that exist in the market. And we feel that this is this has been the norm and it needs to be changed. If we can provide an alternative to the needle-based procedures or surgeries that are out there, then, we'd be offering something innovative. And just to give you an example, kids suffering from middle ear infections, they go through tube surgeries, and it's a major surgery because these surgeries are done under anesthesia. And when these kids have to go through the treatment, if they're put under anesthesia, this makes it a major surgery. So yeah, we just want to provide an alternate where non-invasive targeted delivery can be done and there is no need for anesthesia, and it's a safe, painless method to treat the kids.
So essentially, hypothetically, God forbid, but it unfortunately does happen, a kid gets, God forbid, cancer, right? So you're saying, as opposed to going the normal route, which is pretty much the only option today, you would essentially have essentially created a solution for them that is a lot less painless, if they feel it at all, and a lot easier on them, essentially, right?
Yeah, that is our inner ear program. It deals and tackles with chemotoxicity. So kids undergoing cancer, statistics say that 80% of those kids will survive from cancer if they're given chemo at the right stage, but they would have hearing loss because there is a hair cell line inside the ear which is responsible for hearing that gets damaged. But if we can non-invasively and targetedly deliver the treatment, which does not interfere in the treatment of cancer, and the drug stays locally in the ear during the course of treatment, then the kid would survive from cancer, and the intent is that they would have the hearing afterwards. So provide a normal life after they survive from cancer rather than living a life without hearing.
That's unbelievable. So if you're saying that chemo really does affect, and I don't think most people understand that chemo does give that hearing loss. How many people in the world go with hearing loss? Because that's a huge deal, obviously.
Yeah, so see, this is a good thing that we're talking about today because kids who are undergoing these chemo treatments and who have hearing loss, they're around more than 600,000 a year. So, and these are the statistics given to us by, a couple of charities. Having said that, it's a big number just for kids, but think about adults who have undergone chemo and who have hearing loss thereafter. So there are different populations that we are targeting, but we are going after kids right now first, and we are trying to provide a treatment for them.
Right. So would this totally replace chemotherapy essentially, or will it work in tandem with it?
Yeah, work in tandem with it because chemo is, basically the cancer treatment, and what we're offering is a treatment that basically helps that kid recover or save their hearing. So that's the goal.
How did you, either come up with this or get involved in automagnetics
Yeah.
to begin with?
Yeah, so I got involved in it a few years ago. I've been involved in pharma biotech for multiple decades, and I've seen how the drugs are developed, how much money do we spend. We just wanted to find a way where we can deliver these drugs where we are spending billions of dollars non-invasively and targetedly and locally within a few minutes. And that's when, this opportunity came my way, and I said, this bridges the gap between pharma biotech world, and I'd love to explore more. And that's where I got involved, did my diligence, and been in a part of it since then.
Yeah. And so one of the co-founders is Ben Shapiro, correct?
Yes, he is the inventor of the technology, and he is an advisor to the company.
Right. And just to clarify, that is not the same Ben Shapiro of the Daily Wire. This is a separate Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. When I first heard Ben Shapiro, I'm like, Ben Shapiro is a part of this company? I'm like, that's interesting.
No. Yeah.
That
Yeah, but we do have really interesting and supportive experts in the field who've helped us develop this technology to where we are right now. And so, yeah, we have a device prototype that's been developed under guidance of three physicians, who have been involved in the hearing space for a very long time. And we do have advisors and experts who have experience in commercialization in drug development and magnetic nanoparticles and nanoparticles in general.
right. So when did the company start?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, but I would say we spun out of University of Maryland in the year 2016, if I remember it right. But yeah, it hasn't been that long, but actually it was 2017, if I remember it right. But yeah, around that time frame, we spun out, and that's when we started raising money. And it's been a good journey, but we'd love to. There's a lot more that needs to be accomplished.
Sure. And it sounds like, I mean, you've kind of been there, done that almost. So like, you know exactly the strategy to actually take you there, and anything that, you got Jim had a big hand in, obviously Wendy's, which is pretty much a part of pretty much everybody's life, essentially. I
Yeah.
don't think you can go down the street without seeing one. But so what year did you get involved essentially in the
I
company?
actually got involved when we spun it out from the university. So
Got you.
that's
So
when that's when I got involved, and that's when we started looking at partnerships and fundraising, and we've developed the technology quite a bit since then.
So to clarify, so Ben Shapiro was working on this in the University of Maryland,
Mhm.
under University of Maryland,
Yeah.
essentially in their building. They were funding it, and then I guess there was an aha moment where he was like, "Wow, we should really spin this off."
Yeah, so I think the company was already, the research was being done in the University of Maryland, but we had a couple of groups supporting us. We filed, just so you know, we filed for a lot of SBIR and NIH grants, and we've gotten quite a few contracts, more than $10 million in grants and contracts, and we've raised over 3 million in private money. But yeah, I think when I got involved, we were only funded through grants, and I think 4 or 5 million had been put into it, and since then, more came in the company. But yeah, as I said, we will be raising more, and we'll continue raising more till we commercialize.
How many more years do you think it will take for it to become more mainstream in pretty much every hospital around the world? And how many more dollars will it actually take to do it? Because I'm sure that's no easy feat.
Yeah, it's going to take a few more years, maybe 2 to 3 more years, because we have to file our IND this year. And then we would be going into, I would say, clinical trials after that, in human clinical trials. And yeah, so a few more years, 2 to 3 years before we start commercializing the product.
Has COVID affected anything in your business that it slowed the process of actually continuing to do studies and everything was kind of put on hold?
Yeah, so COVID has been a unique situation, right? Because no one expected it. It just, came our way. But being in healthcare, we operated through COVID. The only thing was that certain uh, device equipment needed to come from China, and the area was shut down. So yeah, for that reason, there were delays in our development. But having said that, who hasn't had that? Probably much more than what we've had. But yeah, we are excited. Our labs were open through COVID. We were still working, and yeah, there has been some delay in the timelines. But other than that, we are still achieving our milestones. We are moving forward.
And so, how many people currently work for you?
So we have around 6 people working for us, and we're hiring more people, 2 to 3 more people this year, and by the end of the year, we expect to have at least 10 employees in the company, full-time employees. And of course, we have a lot of advisors and consultants that work with us. But yeah, we intend to be have at least 10 people working for us by the end of the year, if not more than that. Yeah.
So what is your strategy in order to grow the business and to get into those doctors' offices and hospitals around the world?
So yeah, we are developing the device that we have. We have a razor blade model where we intend to have this device adopted in hospitals and clinics for free or at cost, and we'd be making money off the formulation. That's the goal here.
Yeah. So what do you mean exactly by the formulation, making money off that?
So we have a magnetic nanoparticle formulation that the company is developing. It's unique in its own form and way because the core of it is iron oxide, or has some sort of iron in it, and around that there is a polymer which has small pockets in which there is payload. So yeah, that's the magnetic nanoparticle formulation that we have. And payloads vary depending on the indication that we work with. For middle ear, we are adding an antibiotic and a steroid. For inner ear, we are adding a steroid. So yeah, that is the formulation which has the magnetic component to it, and that's the formulation which would be sold just like any other formulation or a drug that is out there.
Were you the only company that was addressing this issue, or there were others? You guys just happened to actually be successful in producing it?
So I think, so magnetic nanoparticles have been around for a while. Not many companies have tried this and achieved loading the drugs onto magnetic nanoparticles. So I think we are at the forefront of it. But having said that, we still have a long way to go. We are in preclinical stage. We'll be commercializing in a few years. So yeah.
Do you ever worry about, I don't know if this is how things work in the drug world, but let's say Johnson & Johnson, you guys came out, all of a sudden Johnson & Johnson comes out with their own version. Are you worried about that, or this is so unique like that you're just not going to worry about it?
We have patents that cover the formulation and the device and the way we work with it. So we're not really worried about it. We do have, as I said, we do have our IP in place, and yeah. I think if they want to work with us, we'd probably be working with them as a collaborator. And it's exciting because we are already in conversations with pharma biotech. We're not really their competitor, we are a collaborator for them. So all in all, I think we are just expanding the horizon of creating a platform to offer non-invasive drug delivery.
Right, because I think that, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business, but it's really about helping people's lives, right?
Exactly. I
That's
mean,
what it's all about.
exactly. So we want to improve healthcare, and that's the goal that we have.
Yeah. So originally, when you mentioned that you had to raise capital for that, is that something you had a lot of experience in, and what was that like?
Yeah, so I've had, I've raised over 100 million in my career. I do have experience raising capital, and it's a journey of its own, and we'll continue doing so in this as well. We are raising 5 mil right now, and we'll be raising 20 to 25 million in the next round. So yeah, we've already gotten a lot of interest and verbal commitment. So excited about the journey from here on.
Right. So I'm making an announcement here. If you are rich, please reach out to Avita. And so definitely, um, so is there any lesson you could potentially tell an entrepreneur when they walk into like a venture capital firm looking for money? Because I assume when you walk in, anybody who listens to you for more than 4 seconds realizes you're an absolute genius. And I would give you money if you decided to create a sand company, honestly. But for the regular person, if they're looking to raise money, any lesson you would tell them
Yeah.
to be successful?
See, I think persistence is all what you need. By the end of it all, you'll have your challenges, and the company would have things like COVID coming your way, but there's always a way around it. And you should just be committed to the process. That's all I have to say. And yeah, if you're motivated enough, like I am, to improve the healthcare, then I guess there is no stopping.
You know what? I mean, I'm kind of speechless when I say this. Typically, when someone is very, very smart in the sciences, they're typically not business people, and business people are typically not science people. The only person I know who had both was Bill Gates until I met you, by the way.
Thank
How
you.
on God's earth are you able to do both?
See, I've of course worked in bench. I've been a part of pharma biotech for way too long. I got involved in the production of medicines early on through our family business, and that gave me the insight. And then my education really helped. And I worked on bench, for a few years. While doing my masters from UPenn, I was working on bench in different labs. And so I think it's the exposure that I got gives me an insight into doing things. And yeah, you learn, and you apply your education and your experience, and it all comes together. And that's where the business aspect comes into the play. And yeah, I would say all in all, when science meets your strategic vision, you create a business, and that business thrives, and it creates a product.
That's amazing. You mentioned you learned in the family business. What can you tell us a little bit more about that? Maybe elaborate.
Yeah, so we do have a pharma company with 150 products on the market, and yeah, that's a pharma company. So we've established multiple facilities in onco and other areas, and we are currently uh, selling to multiple countries, more than 20. So yeah, it's an amazing process, and we are working through semi-regulated markets with those regions, and we'll be launching in US through that company as well.
Wow, that is unbelievable. And am I going to see your products in like Walgreens or?
Yeah, that's the goal when we launch that company in US. But I think yeah, we have different teams involved and different people involved in different ventures. And so, yeah, as I said, I have been involved in multiple companies as a co-founder, but as a CEO, I have vested my interest and time in Otomagnetics.
Got you. So you're working on Otomagnetics full time, and
Yeah.
essentially the other business, you have other people running that essentially.
Yeah, I do, of course, I have equity and I have, ownership and,
The most
yeah,
important part, right?
yeah, yeah.
So Abita, are there any in the future, are there any plans in the works to potentially go public?
Yeah, so our exit strategy is either we go public or we have some company acquire us. So yeah, those are all possibilities, and it could happen. And there's a high probability this would happen in next few years. Our major inflection point right now is filing for IND, and that's what we are focusing on, which is when we expect our companies to be in, hundreds of millions. So yeah, that is very much possible.
It's I would love for you to go public because I'm doing a show on Thursday, and the show
Mhm.
is based on women in corporations and learning a little bit more as far as doing a little bit of digging as far as women founders, CEOs of companies that go
Yeah.
public. My jaw dropped when I heard this stat. I saw, according to Business Insider, only about 19 or 20 women founders or CEOs took a company public ever,
Yeah.
ever. I
Yeah.
could not believe it.
Yeah.
And so you are potentially going public. I mean, if you go public, that would be unbelievable. You're making history, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you. I think this is amazing. The end goal is to change healthcare and make sure that the technology gets the right, feedback from the customers and is actually able to help people. So yeah, if we go public, cherry on top, and excited to hear all those numbers though.
As an entrepreneur, as running companies, how do you manage your time?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, you have 24 hours in a day. You get up early on, you sleep, you make sure you're spending your time with the right people. You're motivated when you start the day, and you're optimistic, and more importantly, you put your words into action, and that's how you do it. It's important to plan your day so you can make the most of your time.
Yeah. So one thing I have noticed about you in the short time that I do know you is that you're an incredible team builder. You're
Yeah.
excellent at building teams. That really is not such an easy task, by the way, to find the right people for the right job. How have you been able to do that?
Yeah, so I think it all depends, right? When you meet the people, e- everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, and you play with your strengths and you figure out what the other person's strength is, and have them work on that with you to build something that is as innovative and amazing. Because you, as one person, you get, you of course you have your own strong points, but when you surround yourself with people as intelligent or more intelligent than you are, that's when you start achieving more.
How you found someone who's smarter than you is beyond me because I don't know where you found them. But if there were even people in the world that are smarter than you, but apparently you have found them.
Well, I guess I'm saying they are complementary to what I'm working on, right? So one is good at one thing, the other is good at the other thing. Yeah, so it all comes together, and
Got
you tie them up as a team.
got you. Yeah, that's one I feel big lesson that a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, business executives that I think they really need to understand is even when you have someone like yourself who is fully capable of pretty much anything you put your mind to, you can't do it all yourself, right?
Yeah.
You got to have like a team in place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't do it all by yourself. I mean, of course, unless you're in a business or you're on a bench where your job is just by yourself. Having said that, when you're building a business or a team, it's everyone's hard work. Yeah, so yeah, I credit everything to my team whenever we succeed in something. So that's
Yeah.
how
So
I. Yeah.
there we go. So looking down the road in about, let's say 5, 10 years from now, where do you see Otomagnetics, and do you think it's going to surpass, when is it going to surpass $1 billion?
So in a few years, it could be even sooner, I would say. This year, we are hoping we'll be at $100 million mark. But then again, as soon as I think it could be as soon as end of next year, or actually in 2 years, I would think we would be there. It all depends on how we diversify our assets and how we work in collaboration with other groups. And but yeah, it's a biotech company. It's a non-invasive drug delivery platform that could offer multiple avenues and applications. So I think we are exploring three different product pipelines in eye, ear, and skin. Eye itself is a $3 billion market, and skin is a $16 billion market. So there is no stopping us, right? I mean, it all depends on how fast we can explore and how many resources we got.
Wow. I'm just like, you said that so confidently. Anyways, I always say this line, when you make Forbes, just don't forget your friends, but it's a little bit too late for that. You're already on Forbes India, correct?
Yeah, I had, I was interviewed.
There we go. Is there anything we didn't cover you'd like to speak about?
Well, I guess we'd love to, talk more about the technology if anyone's interested. And we are always looking at, working with the right talent, and we are working with amazing people here. And if anyone wants to get involved in any capacity, we'd love to, meet you or work with you. So thank you so much.
Definitely. And so if someone wants to reach out to you, whether working for you and investing in you, how can they reach you?
They can use my email address, and they can, contact me through that.
Definitely. I'll leave a link down below and people can reach out to you. Yeah. I mean, the only I wish you the absolute best of luck. And honestly, I don't even think you need it. It seems like you really know what you're doing. You've got a great team behind you. And so I just really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Max. I really appreciate you inviting me here.
Absolutely. Anytime. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.